Welcome to episode 195 of The Trust Show. Today's episode marks a very meaningful milestone. It's the final reading from the Trust Premium book. In this episode, I'll be reading three final sections: the Epilogue, the Acknowledgements, the thank you chapter, and about the author. Together, these will close the book not just literally, but also emotionally and professionally. The Epilogue is where I step back and reflect on the bigger picture. Not just what we've learned, but what we can do with it. If you've been with me through this journey, you know that trust isn't just a vague concept. It's a measurable, strategic, and transformative force in any professional relationship. But more than that, it's personal. This book was a labor of love, grounded in research, shaped by real-world conversations, and driven by a relentless belief that trust is the most powerful currency in business and life. I'll also read the Acknowledgements chapter, a heartfelt thank you to the people who supported me, challenged me, and inspired me to bring this project to life. If your name is mentioned, know that you were part of something meaningful. If it's not, but you've followed this journey, listened to the podcast, or applied something from the book, you're part of it too. And you'll be surprised at who I thank at the end. Finally, I'll share the About the Author section, which you already know, it's me. But I included here not just as a bio, but as a reminder that we all bring our unique stories, credentials, and scars to our work. Trust is built on that human foundation. So, let's turn the final page together. Let's wrap up this book, but not the conversation. Because trust isn't something you finish. It's something you become. Let's begin right after this. Welcome to The Trust Show. I'm Yoram Solomon, your host, the author of the Book of Trust, and facilitator of the Trust Habits Workshop. My mission is simple. I want to help you form habits that build your trustworthiness, because the answer to this question will have the biggest impact on your personal and professional success or failure. Can I trust you? Epilogue. Imagine this: a professional landscape where being trusted is no longer a bonus, it's the table stakes for success. A world where your customers consistently choose you, not because you're the cheapest or the most convenient, but because they know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you will deliver on your promises and exceed them. This is the promise of the Trust Premium. For me, the Trust Premium was a labor of love. It's the culmination of years of research, countless conversations, decades of experience with customers, big and small, and personal insights into what makes professionals truly trusted by their customers. It's a guide not just to understanding trust, but to mastering it as a skill, a mindset, and a way of being. Through the stories and frameworks in this book, I've aimed to bring trust to life, not as an abstract ideal, but as a measurable, actionable, and indispensable component of your professional success. Trust isn't optional anymore. It's not a nice to have or a vague quality you hope customers associate with you. It's measurable, it's deliberate, and it's what separates professionals who thrive from those who struggle to keep up. Customers prefer to buy from someone they trust and are willing to pay a premium for that trust. The data we've explored is clear. When customers trust you, they'll prefer to work with you 96.6% of the time and pay up to 39.4% more for the privilege. And the impact doesn't stop there. Trust has an even greater effect on your profit than your revenue, because trusted relationships reduce the cost of acquiring and retaining customers. But trust doesn't just appear. It's earned. It's earned through your honesty, integrity, consistency, and willingness to show your customers that you understand them and are there to meet their needs. And that's where the real work begins. This book has taken you through the Trust Premium process, a 3-phase journey that starts with understanding how trust works in your industry, evaluating how your own customers currently perceive you, and implementing the trust habits process to create real, lasting changes in how you build and maintain trust. But let me be absolutely clear. This isn't a book of shortcuts. It's not a guide to tricking your customers into thinking they can trust you. If anything, consider this a warning. This book's ideas, behaviors, and strategies are about earning genuine trust. If you attempt to mimic these behaviors only to fool customers, the truth will eventually come out, and the damage to your trustworthiness and your business could be irrecoverable. Trust is fragile, and deception is the fastest way to shatter it beyond repair. Instead, this book is about becoming the kind of professional your customers want to trust. It's about putting in the work to genuinely embody the qualities that build trust: honesty, transparency, empathy, hard work, and personalization. It's about asking yourself not just how to be trusted, but how to deserve that trust. Think about the power of trust in your customer relationships. Trust turns a first-time buyer into a lifelong advocate. Trust compels a skeptical prospect to choose you over a cheaper competitor. Trust makes your existing customers not only stay, but actively recommend you to their friends, colleagues, and anyone who will listen. Those recommendations, reviews, references, and reputation will become the foundation of your business success. But trust is fragile. It must be nurtured and reinforced with every interaction. That's why I've included the trust habit process in this book, a step-by-step framework to identify the behaviors that build trust and systematically turn them into habits. Habits that ensure you're consistently earning trust, whether it's with a new customer or those who've been with you for years. The stories and insights in this book illustrate that trust isn't just about what you do. It's about how you do it. It's about the small actions that add up over time to show your customers that they matter. It's about making every interaction a chance to strengthen your relationship and demonstrate your reliability. As I reflect on writing this book, I want you to know how much I've poured into it. The research, the stories, the lessons, they're all here because I truly believe that trust is the most powerful currency you can have as a professional. When customers trust you, you're not just another option. You're the obvious choice. Now, as you reach the end of this book, it's time to ask yourself, what will you do with what you've learned? Will you take the time to survey your industry and understand the trust premium you're leaving behind on the table? Will you assess your own practices to identify where you can grow? Will you put in the work to form the habits that make you genuinely trusted? This isn't just a business strategy. It's a philosophy. Trust is about more than transactions. It's about relationships. It's about becoming someone your customers can rely on, advocate for, and recommend without hesitation. So here's my call to action. Start now. Don't wait for the perfect moment to implement what you've learned. Begin with one step, one habit, one relationship. Trust isn't built overnight, but it starts with a single action. This book has been my way of sharing what I've learned about trust with you in a specific context of the relationship between you as a professional, a service provider, and your customer. But its real value will come from what you do next. The potential is limitless, and the rewards are immense. Your customers are waiting for someone they can trust. Be that someone. And when you do, you will see firsthand the extraordinary power of the Trust Premium in transforming your professional life. Thank you. This book and the research behind it would probably not have happened if it hadn't been for a launch meeting that I had with Mark Hunter, the sales hunter. I've known Mark through the National Speakers Association, although it sounds so much cooler when I refer to it just as NSA. Mark had just moved from Nebraska to North Texas, and we scheduled lunch. Mark is a very accomplished sales expert who focuses on sales prospecting. During that lunch, when I described my initial finding from 6 years ago about the Trust Premium, I didn't call it that. He thought for a moment and said that he was unaware of any research done on this issue. He thought it would be a good idea if I started researching it more seriously, which I did. Thank you, Mark. This wouldn't have happened without you. Leading to the writing of this book, I must also thank other prominent NSA members who focus on sales, such as Tim Marvell, Stu Schlackman, and Jim Pansero from the NSA North Texas chapter, who I'm proud to call my friends. As soon as I started my Trust Premium research, they were always there for me as my sounding board, sometimes confirming what I thought and, at other times, challenge me to think further. I would also like to thank Todd Cohen, Bill Cates, Larry Levine, and Daryl Amy, who inspired me along the way. Recognizing that the Trust Premium is deeply tied to specific industries, I needed to choose one as the starting point for my research. I turned to Scott Cohen, a close friend, who also happened to be my financial advisor and investment manager. After a brief discussion, it became clear that the financial advising industry was the perfect place to begin. Through the journey of researching and writing this book, Scott has been an invaluable source of support, offering his insights, suggestions, and listening ear. I'm profoundly grateful for his generosity and encouragement. I would also like to express my gratitude to an old friend we shared, Martin Goldman, who introduced me to Scott and was a steadfast supporter. Tragically, Martin passed away this past year, but his kindness and friendship remain deeply appreciated. I owe a profound debt of gratitude to my PhD dissertation mentor and committee chair, Cordy Kaman. My journey into researching trust would never have begun without his encouragement to push beyond my limits and focus on work that could improve not only my life, but the lives of others. Tragically, Cordy passed away just 1 week before I completed my dissertation. I deeply regret that I was unable to share that milestone with him, but his guidance and vision continue to inspire everything I do. For my research, I used a consumer panel company called Sentiment. I want to thank them for their support in the process, specifically Jacob Ramey, my account manager at Sentiment, who was patient and responsive to my research needs. I have learned from many excellent salespeople throughout my career, but I want to take a moment to recognize two who profoundly impacted me. The first is my wife, Anat. She never intended to be a salesperson and had no formal training in sales, yet when I started my startup company, Solram Electronics Ltd., in 1995, she stepped in without hesitation. At trade shows, Anat's natural ability to connect with people shone. I watched her effortlessly build rapport not just with potential customers, but also with those who couldn't use our product because it wasn't the right fit for them. Her authenticity and sincerity made people want to buy our product simply because she was the one selling it. From her, I learned that sometimes the most honest answer to a customer's question is, "This product isn't right for you." That kind of integrity builds trust like nothing else. The second is Teresa Benson, a colleague of mine at Texas Instruments. As the account manager for Apple, she taught me an invaluable lesson. No matter how big or prestigious a company or brand may be, at its heart, it's made up of people. The better you understand and build trust with those individuals, the more successful you will be. Both Anat and Teresa left lasting impressions on me, shaping how I approach trust and relationships in every aspect of my work. I want to thank countless service and product providers I encountered in my life who taught me how trust can erode after the purchase decision was made, but also want to thank Fred Myers, CEO of Queensboro, who taught me how trust can increase after the purchase decision was already made, to the point of turning me into a loyal customer and an advocate for his business. I can't begin to tell you how many people I have referred to Queensboro since that one extraordinary customer support interaction. One more person who deserves my sincere thanks is Ken Galliano, my friend who was my sounding board when I started developing my research surveys and was available to me anytime I needed him. Finally, thank you, the reader, for taking the time to read this book and committing to becoming a more trustworthy professional. By diving into these pages, you've demonstrated not just a desire to succeed, but also a deep respect for the people you serve, your customers. Trust isn't built overnight, nor is it a simple checkbox in the sales process. It's an ongoing commitment to honesty, integrity, transparency, and hard work. Your willingness to reflect on your behaviors, understand your customers, and adopt meaningful changes sets you apart as someone who values relationships over transactions. The decision to prioritize trust in your professional life is not only a gift to your customers, but also an investment in your own success, one that will yield dividends in loyalty, satisfaction, and long-term prosperity. I applaud your dedication to becoming not just a better salesperson or provider, but a better person. The elephant in the room. Using ChatGPT. There is an ongoing debate about the ethics of using AI tools like ChatGPT to write books. Let me be clear. Outsourcing your ideas entirely to an AI tool and asking it to write a book for you is not just lazy, it's unethical. That's not what I did. Instead, I used ChatGPT in a very different way. To create this book, I uploaded content I had written before, the Book of Trust, and various articles on trust and the Trust Premium. I outlined sections, identified key issues, and articulated my positions clearly. Then, I asked ChatGPT to adapt my thoughts to the provider-customer context, iterating together and refining to improve the content. Every word, idea, and concept originated from me, but ChatGPT helped me shape them into a compelling narrative in my own voice. ChatGPT didn't generate new ideas. It amplified and polished my own. Using ChatGPT allowed me to focus on higher-level thinking while entrusting ChatGPT to turn those ideas into clear and impactful prose. It felt like a true partnership that transformed my creative process, making it faster and more effective while maintaining the integrity of my ideas and voice. I've spoken publicly about the role of AI in enhancing human creativity, including in my third TEDx talk, 3 Reasons to Trust Students with ChatGPT, and a Perspectives Matter TV program I hosted on artificial intelligence. My position is clear. AI, like ChatGPT, should not be used to replace human thinking, but to augment it. It frees us to focus on higher-order problem-solving, while AI handles the mechanics of communication. As I express my gratitude to the many people who supported me in creating this book, I want to thank ChatGPT for its partnership. Through it, as a proxy, I also extend my thanks to the researchers and developers of OpenAI who made this collaboration possible. This book is a testament to how AI can elevate human creativity when used ethically and thoughtfully. The use of AI, as discussed in this book, can indeed be one of the reasons trust erodes. That's why I want to be completely transparent about its role here. I'm not pretending to have written every word of this book unaided. Instead, I see this as a true collaboration where I provided the ideas, structure, and voice, while ChatGPT helped refine and express them. To earn your trust, I feel it's essential to disclose the extent of AI's contribution openly. Transparency is the foundation of trust, and this is simply the right thing to do. About the author. Dr. Yoram Solomon published 20 books, 22 patents, and was one of the creators of Wi-Fi and USB 3.0 technologies. Dr. Solomon was named by Innovation Excellence as one of the top 40 innovation bloggers and by Thinkers 360 as one of the top 20 global thought leaders on culture. He was a columnist at Inc. magazine, Innovation Excellence, and other publications, where he published more than 400 articles. Dr. Solomon holds a PhD in Organization and Management from Capella University, an MBA from the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs, an LLB from the Tel Aviv University Law School, and an associate degree in electrical engineering from Ortzingalovsky College. He completed the Executive Marketing Management program at Stanford University and the Developing the Strategic Leader program at the Center for Creative Leadership, CCL, in Colorado Springs. Dr. Solomon is certified by CCL to administer the Keys and Skill Scope assessments and is an authorized provider of school board training by the Texas Education Agency. He has founded several startups and sold one in Silicon Valley. He has held various positions from general manager of a $100 million business unit in a Fortune 200 company to vice president of corporate strategy and innovation and CEO. Dr. Solomon held and still holds positions as an adjunct professor of entrepreneurship and innovation at Southern Methodist University and the University of Texas at Dallas. In 2015, he was elected to the Plano Independent School District Board, where he served 4 years as a trustee and a board vice president. He is a professional member of the National Speakers Association, NSA, and was a 3-time TEDx speaker and host. Yoram brings his expertise as a marksman, serving in the IDF's 35th Airborne Paratroopers Brigade, and as a U.S. Air Force CAP pilot. For additional free resources, check our website, www.yoramsolomon.com, email us at info@yoramsolomon.com, or call us at 972-332-1490. Well, this brings us to the end of the Trust Premium. In this episode, I read the Epilogue, the Acknowledgements, and the About the Author sections, bringing this long journey to a close. If you've been listening since the beginning, thank you. Whether this was your first episode or your 195th, I'm grateful you've joined me on this path. This isn't the end of the Trust Show, though. In fact, in 2 weeks, we'll return to our regular programming. I'll be discussing real-world trust issues, news events, case studies, and diving into more practical and research-based applications of trust and the Trust Premium. It will be a little more conversational, a little more reactive, and as always, grounded in what makes trust work in real life. Also, the recordings from these episodes where I read the Trust Premium chapter by chapter will soon be reformatted and released as the official audiobook version of the book. So, if you like to revisit it or recommend it to someone else, that option will be available shortly. I hope that this made you think a little differently about trust and Trust Premium. May trust be with you. This was The Trust Show. What would you like to know about trust and trustworthiness? Let me know and I'll answer it in a future episode. I would love to hear from you. Email me at yoram@thetrustshow.com. If you like this episode, subscribe to the show so you will automatically get notified when I release a new episode. Rate it. Write a review for this podcast because those ratings help not only you, but also others looking for podcasts just like this. If you're looking for more resources to learn about how to build trust, be trusted, or know who to trust, look up my workshops, online courses, books, or go to my website, trusthabits.com. And remember that the answer to these two questions will have the biggest impact on your personal and professional success or failure. Can I trust you, and can you trust me? Thank you for listening or watching The Trust Show.